go first unless I can. Definitely. Whew.
Apologies for the delay. There you go. We're going to start this meeting at 5:35 p.m. We're going to say I am present, Zena is present, Ryan is present, Justin's present, Nithya is present, and Ilse is present. Okay.
Yeah.
Making changes to our agenda. We'll be striking Abdul's confirmation. We're waiting on the check back from Campus Life. So since we don't have that, I told him that he will come in next week. So we'll be striking that from our agenda. Also, this HOS request, the UMBC is a variation of the logo that's not allowed. So we are going to be in contact with them. I was mistaken in believing that it was
Wait, who's
American Red Cross.
in the new shirt, the blue shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a variation of the athletics logo. So the athletics logo has the arched UMBC and the dog. But that is taking off the dog of the arched UMBC. And so if you're just using the letters, it doesn't have it on there as just being able to use those arched letters.
Okay, what's your point?
Yeah, so I was mistaken in believing that, so we'll be letting them know, but we're going to go ahead and strike them from our agenda since we won't be able to pass them anyway. Which means we have one piece of legislation. And then the constitutional amendments, I need to change that. We're going to shift constitutional amendments to 7 p.m. because that's when the space is available. So, yeah, so discussion will still remain at 5:45, and we'll only be talking about the extra meetings for the spring budget cycle. After that, we'll put an agenda here. Justin, you want to question?
Yeah. You can, if you need more copies, you can ask them to talk about updates.
Oh, is that it? Is it there?
It's literally, well,
No, hold on.
Wait, the
Oh,
pie
no, no, no,
chart.
no, 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 no. So these are from, has this been updated with the new logo?
no, I guess
Wasn't
it's
it?
sure, I'm pretty sure it was like the,
Hold on, scroll up.
I guess.
Yeah.
Scroll back down.
That one. But it was blue, or it was white. On the
Yeah, so has, does it say it can be a variation of the color? But that's with the yellow, white, with the yellow outline.
Scott's not here. He's going to be asking questions. Okay, might as well pull up.
It's white, too. I don't know where that, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
It was-
I mean, the shirt, they literally came in on Friday and showed me a totally different design, but then they didn't submit that, so I don't know. Yeah, see? See? Yeah, they sent me this.
All right.
No, this
The discussion time will be marked for 7 p.m. and we'll adjust on the agenda. So, sorry about all the changes for this one. Things shifted a lot quicker than I thought they would. That being said, this is our agenda as amended. Striking this House request and the confirmation until we hear back from Campus Life. Shifting constitutional limits down to 7 p.m. and shifting discussion upwards accordingly. And adding in a long recess. Is there a motion regarding the agenda?
move to approve the agenda of the 25th.
As amended.
As amended.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hands now. All opposed? 5-4, 0 against, the motion carries. Oh, cool. All right, so up next we have the minutes from February 18th.
Oh, open it?
Yeah.
My bad.
You're good, you're good. Again, my apologies.
I don't need this.
Don't click on stop sharing.
Hold on. Excuse for this technical difficulties. Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
I can do it.
Computer side.
Press Alt Tab.
How do you
Like hold, press Alt Tab.
I don't know.
Or you have it in the next word, okay?
Small thing.
Yeah. Can you share your thoughts? Just like the blue bar. Good
They're
comments.
trying to pull the minutes.
I'm so confused. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm not good at computer.
I'm not good at computer. Okay, philosophy.
I'm not good at it.
That's
Press
sorry, rest of the
control
philosophy.
whatever tab number it is. Press control
Are you
2, 3, or 4.
Did you want to do this thing?
Just open it all over again.
You can just, oh, look at
That's
Can you disconnect? You push stop.
India interview.
You put it on the board.
If he was with you.
She really just came in and hijacked the meeting.
She goes, just stop.
Just
Stop sharing. Yeah. That's so cool. You're disconnected.
Okay, this is a minute. Ex officio can be motions, correct?
That is correct.
Move to approve the minutes from the February.
Alright, all in favor, please raise your hands now. All opposed, 5-4, 0 against, motion carries.
Ex officios can motion.
Can you second as well?
I don't,
Ex officios make motions, but they can't second a motion,
there you go.
because a second is a 5 vote. Go ahead and, she's like, let's just get this going. Alright, I'd like to introduce FBL 355-1920, which is amendment to the SGA budgetary statutes. Well, guess what? We still have another budget cycle. We're gonna end this year at least at the 500 mark. So, after doing some research into our budgetary statutes, there's actually no need to worry about the spring semester because budget for the spring you just have to get out before July 1st.
Well, so they have access to the money beginning July first.
It says fall budget funds will be released.
Released, the
Yeah.
funds will be released.
Yeah.
It's,
So I changed that part, but in the first part, it still changes the 30 to 45
yes,
days.
I think that's great.
So, and then we adjusted the same thing in 3.6 as well. This would give us 6 weeks as opposed to 4 to get the work done.
Does that mean that what we said on our Instagram story yesterday was a lie?
What do you mean?
It was true at the time.
I-
No, 30
no,
to 45
I
days.
had Cliff write 30 to 45.
Yeah. Who said it? You said it?
Yeah.
I noticed that, and I was like, huh, okay.
So we are gonna, we're not gonna go ahead and do July 1st then?
July 1st is when they'll have access to the funds.
Because it's a new
They
Oh.
fiscal year.
can't, because it's next year's money, yeah. They
Got
can't
it,
spend
got
it
it,
until the new fiscal year.
Okay.
I'd like to move to amend FBO 355-1920.
Second.
I have to add in a clause under 3.5 as 3.5.1 to indicate that in the event that the SAFRB has not passed the SGA budget within 45 days of budget submissions, that budgets will be released 7 days following the release of the SGA budget by SAFRB. I can type it up. I can type it up.
I don't know.
Affairs.
I can't spell.
No, wait, student activity.
Student activity.
Right. Student activities. Student activities.
Student activity fee review board.
That's correct, right?
Correct.
slash like slash class.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just both called Property 489, because they're both, you know how every semester is special, yeah.
Alright, so here you go. The proposed is section 3.5.1, which states that in the event that the Student Activities Fee Review Board, given as SAFRB, has not released the final SGA operating budget for the next fiscal year by the 45-day mark, the filing towards new deadlines for the issuance of an allocation bill should be 2B, not BB. To be 7 days following the release of the SGA budget by the SAFRB.
I think that's appropriate.
Alright, that being said, are there any discussion points regarding the bill?
7 days. 7 days?
Yeah. A week
Oh,
following.
I guess because, okay.
We already will have.
All of your,
Yeah,
you should have
right.
made decisions, right?
Right.
Yeah. Actually, you know what, we probably should have started that. In the event that, yeah, let's change it to 14 days. Because in the event that there's a situation where the budget is reduced by the SAFB or they
That's what I was gonna say, yeah.
they put back changes like, hey, we'll prove if we drop this and we have to make those changes regarding, there should be buffer time for the board to determine what we have to do should the finance board allocation pot not be what we thought it was. Alright, so these are proposed changes. Any other discussion points? Oh, can you strike or before in 3.6? Just backspace. Just get rid of it. Although the strike through, I like this Alt Shift 5. I would do that a lot easier. Alright, this is the proposed bill on the floor. Any other discussion points, amendments, or changes? I'd like to move to approve the amendments to FPL 355-1920.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hands now. All opposed, 5-4, 0 against. Alright, is there any more discussion regarding this bill? Alright, in that case, I'd like to move to approve FPL 355-1920.
Second.
Alright, all in favor, please raise your hands now. 6-4, 0 against, 0 abstaining, 2 not present, the motion carries.
You should write that in.
What?
You should write that in on the legislation.
You don't have to, do you? Alright, up next is the extra meeting for the spring break cycle. I shot a text over to Elise and Scott to hope that they would send their availabilities, but they have yet to do so. Both of them are sick at the current moment, but in the meantime, if everyone could open up their calendars and see start working on ideal dates that we could go forward, and then we can make our final judgment call next week when Scott and Elise are hopefully back. In the meantime, given the fact that we've extended our budget cycle by an additional 2 meetings, I think that would serve our need for the secondary meetings to be lowered from the prior 3 hours down to maybe 1 to 2 hours. So we'll be looking ideally for a 2-hour slot that we could all work in.
It's so, oh, don't do it.
Slap in everyone's calendar to see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, Scott uses it, so I think it might be important to have Scott set. I don't know how much Elise uses.
No. I don't know. As a baseline, do you want to start talking about Friday at the same time that we did last? If that still works for everybody.
From what I understand, Friday would not work for Scott and myself.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks off campus.
Scott works off campus, and typically I have engagements that I have to work on for the weekend, and I work on Fridays.
Not in your calendar, then it's just like, yeah.
What about Wednesday or Thursday evening?
I have class. I have class on Wednesday evening.
How, I mean, I have class at 7.
What about Thursday?
What about Thursday, Red?
Huh?
What about Thursday?
Thursday?
Sorry.
Mostly.
Could you slow down so we can check out Thursdays
What?
after 5 o'clock?
We technically.
Every other week on Thursdays I'm free.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what you said. Yeah, but
Thursday is after 5.
it's like an hour.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it's
we
on
can't make
this
it
day,
classes times, so.
I class ends at 5.
What did you report thing?
This is a coloring book.
I don't wanna prioritize that.
You don't wanna prioritize that?
Also, you have to prioritize it. It's a class, it's a grade comes first. School comes first.
Okay, so
I mean, we have one, it's 1 hour between
Huh?
5 to 8.
You're in the
It's
same
a one
class.
credit class.
I have to make 2 hours of that though.
Oh.
'Cause I can't.
Oh, you don't, oh, I have to do 1 hour. So then it's Thursday practice times between 2 hours between 5 to 8. So
We could do,
if you went 7,
like,
6 to 8,
yeah, if we did 6 to 8, then
But
I
I
would
have-
do 4 to 6.
I forgot to do 16.
No,
but
no,
I was
there's
like,
some other
my
classes.
class is till 4, yeah.
I think I'm happy in seeing that Tuesday block, just the entire line of.
It looks like everyone is available. Well, you have something. What is this?
That Friday block.
Did you actually get everything?
Yes, I did, and it's very colorful.
Honestly, let me check out my Friday block to see what exceptions I can make when the actual budgets are. If you could
I
shift
can-
the date from February 28th to the
Next week?
no, March, the week after March 17th, ideally when our first budget date meeting would be. So the week of March 23rd.
Spring break?
Semester are you
Okay, Friday?
I would be unavailable.
Yeah, you have VES 6. What's
Yeah.
that?
It's Vietnamese house, and I'll be flying out of BWI and all of my classes are open.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Boston to meet a bunch of other Vietnamese people and to work the same amount that I did this weekend.
Right, next week? Following week?
I mean, if everyone else can make it, then
At 9 o'clock in the morning.
we'll stop.
How about no?
Say, 9 o'clock in the morning, I have love on Friday.
Yeah,
Who's
scroll
going to
down.
the rack? Ryan.
Go
ahead.
Oh, 9.
We'll all go.
No, wait, scroll down before you.
Friday,
Go
down.
Yeah.
I feel like you did something for the time.
It's
No,
not
it's just all easy.
I
I would say, because so the issue is that
Huh?
we would be.
Yes.
So hard. How is that hard? It's hard, you have to do math.
Do I go next week?
Blue. Elise.
Huh?
Elise is blue, yeah.
We would be 6 to 8 on Friday.
Did you say you're gonna
Pause it right here, but we.
Well, the thing about it is that ideally, if for our
There's a possibility.
secondary meeting point, we wouldn't have to have it every week. Or we
You
could
needed
skip one.
all of them.
You
But
asked-
we have extra 2 meetings, which is like 12 hours. No, not 12, but like.
Ten
You
minutes.
would go
Like
from
10 hours.
5:30 to
What?
11.
Yeah.
A lot, like we were.
My mom hates that.
So you put in an additional 1, 2, 3, 4. What is that? 5:30 to 11:30. How many hours is that? 6. You put in an additional 24 hours. So you need to have right for
12 hours.
2 meetings.
For 2
Additional
meetings?
2 meetings, 6 hours.
It's
each.
12 hours.
If you can't make it that one Friday, like you can run it.
Because we'll
And
definitely
then-
need at least like a few.
Yeah, there's probably gonna be one meeting
Yeah, that's why
that
I'm
everyone can
looking
go
at.
to.
That's why I'm looking at that Friday slot, because it looks. Although I will not lie, the phrase meeting at 6 to 8 on Friday
Does not sound good.
does not
I
sound
mean,
good
we did
at all.
5:30 last.
So
semester.
who,
It doesn't sound good, but that really appears to be our only option at the current.
what's wrong with Thursday?
I don't.
Justin, Nilsson, and I will all have court practice during that time frame.
Where is that? We don't have it.
We just got the assignment on Friday.
What time is it on Thursday?
5 to 8.
Oh, 2 hours
3.
of that.
And actually, do 2 hours of that, so we could do 6 to 8 or 5 to 7, but unless you guys are comfortable
What?
starting a meeting at 7 p.m. on Thursday.
Wait, what's the earliest everyone can do on Thursday? Because what if we do that to 6?
Nithya looks like she's got IAPS 304 that ends at 5:15.
I'm free. I'm good every other Thursday.
I'm not saying that to go to.
That's literally my only, essentially my only thing on Thursday.
Where is
Just that
Work.
colors.
work? Jeez.
Oh, weekend.
No, I'm kidding. It's public.
We're gonna get a caterer.
If you submit a quick video.
As much as I hate to say it out loud, we may have to consider that.
Consider what? Oh, good luck. She's like, I'm not gonna be here.
No.
Kids like, I only
Candace
come
said,
in.
I'm in Disney every weekend.
When?
No, I'd rather do Friday than weekend. Yeah, but, but this whole thing is like, what's up?
Yeah,
And you're
culture
still not gonna be
show.
on
Next week is probably also blocked off.
We got right, yeah. Court
Would you like me to go to
tournament.
another?
We learn me traveling for
Oh, okay, so bye.
Let's just go to a different time.
Let's just get it done during.
I mean, we could come early in the morning, but I guarantee y'all
No,
wanna get
because
up.
he
and
has to
get
go
up.
to
Aw.
No, I'm gonna still be
I wish
sleeping.
I was me, Ryan.
I'll say this just
I
once.
wish I was you.
I wake up at 5:40. Hold on,
I wish I
let me
was
look at something real quick.
Monday
Do you
night.
go back?
Wait, what do you? Oh,
wait.
we have.
I literally ate that.
Huh?
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, I have. How many more?
That's okay.
With Karen?
Yeah.
No, that's Miller.
Yes.
Okay, so since we just passed the motion that, or since we just passed the bill, our set deadline for when we have to get this information out to Nords is now April 27th. Which of course is a Monday. Should have made it 46.
There's something happening on April 27th.
I have a crime planned on that from 6:30 to 8.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm just gonna go back.
Liam, like, if Thursday's the only time,
Oh,
like,
this spot
maybe
right
Anne
here.
would like, maybe you could do like 7 to 9. Or maybe,
Um,
I did not
also you were like,
use the exercise, so I'll probably pass out.
you know what you're doing.
yeah.
And our tournament's on April 11th, after April 11th, like,
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. That after April 11th, all that
that
tax
like
line goes
happens.
away.
But I think that time could be a little bit more flexible, like if you talk to, like,
Yeah.
or Anne,
Like
like,
4 hours here.
maybe you guys
I
could meet.
have to talk to Blake.
No, I mean talk to Anne as in like,
Australia group.
the people who would run, because Blake's not, doesn't even
It's
run
not
the
like
meetings.
required.
It's literally Anne running the
It's just
meeting.
like, oh, there's.
Yeah, well, if she can pull a 10-inch instrument,
Oh.
then possibly, but I'd rather.
I think you can talk to Blake about
I
it.
think, alright,
If you
so,
did 1 hour.
yes, hold on, alright, Zane, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna motion that we kind of decide what times we're gonna pick.
So the two options that we're looking at right now is if I can get this deferment, along with the other members of the board, then we could potentially do Thursdays from 5 to 7.
Yeah, but I just don't like to.
You just,
Thursday,
you can
5
still
to-
vote, right?
5
to
to-
Yes, 1 at a time.
So I
Tell me.
have that green block is there every other week. So I mean, if it's on one of those weeks that it's not there.
Could we do?
Is there a green block off campus?
It's
How far away is it?
Westminster.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, yo.
Huh?
I said, oh, yo, yo,
So like,
that's far.
not, I mean, there's only one person probably missing at every meeting.
Yeah.
And you laugh.
What about Friday?
But it's not every
Fridays,
week.
6 to 8. Is it possible for you guys?
Well, it's
Yeah.
not every week for me. It'd be every other week. So if it's even like
What if we flip flop Thursday, Friday, Thursday, Friday?
They could do that, I like that.
So like, go to, and when is your move court practice?
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
So, I mean, yeah, I could easily probably negotiate that.
Well, I mean, if you did,
I mean, I don't
you need to make 2 hours of it?
Yeah.
I only need to meet 1 hour for that.
Yeah, the rest of the members need to be 1 hour because the problem is that we have 3 potential practice times for moot court. You have to take 2 hours
2
from
hours.
those. Most people do the hour after our meeting on Friday, but I have a class during that point, which will have to make up 2 hours.
And the other
elsewhere.
time is Tuesdays, 5.
Yeah, the other time is right now. It's 5 to 7. So none of us can make that.
So if we did Thursdays from, how many weeks is it between now and then? I also wanna remind you that it takes us a minute to get rolling every meeting, right? So 2 hours is really like an hour and a half of work, not, and then, right? So it always takes us a minute to like get the train moving again. So you had 24 hours of extra time last time. I would encourage you to have that same amount of time. You divide it up how you want. How many?
6 weeks.
Yeah,
6 weeks.
We've got six regular meetings.
Yeah.
Which is better than last time. We
Which
had
actually
three.
gives you, we had 3,
Yeah.
so it gives you
That's a
18 more hours,
Always
so you need 12. That's what you told me?
Six and three.
Thank you for helping me get there slowly.
It's all right. But the long way confirms that my short way was correct. That is important.
So if you did 2 hours, we said 2 hours.
Yeah. So let's do
William's like I already said.
let's do 6 to 8 on Fridays. See how that come out. I know it's not ideal, but is there anyone that would have an objection and absolutely would not be able to make it 6 to 8 on Fridays?
Wow, I didn't know I was gonna do that, but I'll miss out.
Okay.
Yeah, you do that when you're in the meet with section. Any event that you make adds in everyone else.
Right there.
So I know for like
Yeah, go ahead.
one of the days, I'm gonna have to be out of town for like a conference.
That's fine.
That's it, okay.
Can you
You're fine,
add
so will I.
your advisors to this, please?
Scott and Elise could be fine too.
I don't think Scott's gonna be able to make him.
And any evening? Oh my God.
What we'll do is what we did last time, which is we'll refrain from passing legislation during our special meetings unless absolutely necessary.
Okay.
Jack Courtney?
Yes. I made this.
You know what, Frank's interested for another heading.
Okay, wait, we're starting this, starting this from,
Ignore this one.
This would start
I don't
March
have-
27th
okay.
and would go till April 24? Yeah, April 24th.
On Friday.
6 to 8 on. Is that 6 to 8 on Fridays?
No, we'll be here.
It's fine.
When do you leave?
Oh, wait, I shouldn't have changed.
Yeah, so it's gonna be March 27th, 8 o'clock, or
Tuesday.
1800, to March 27th at 2000.
I'm missing 2 back to back.
Is alcohol served?
We can like talk through before those meetings of like what things to look out for, what things we want to do. Tracker, if you're still doing the same
I
thing.
think the only one that you'll be by yourself is when we're in ASPA.
Okay,
Because we know that we can get Fridays.
That's
to
fine.
work.
probably the
Right.
same.
It's the only time I'm gonna be out of town.
Okay, on Fridays.
Name it finance board
Wait,
special
is it-
meeting.
wait,
That there's a-
is it March 27th? Oh, wait.
I changed that because it's like, if I
But
made it
besides
to
that, I'll be here.
the 24th, then the entire calendar would be like one giant event. Okay.
18 o'clock.
Or is this SGA?
Just save it as this for now, so we all have our calendars, and then once we can find, if we can get rooms in locations.
Every Friday?
That's what you said?
Every Friday?
No, just save it as this, yeah, every Friday.
27th through the 20th, okay. I'll go for it.
Just save it right now, and then see if, Candace will see what rooms that we can get, and then I'll send out a proper one with all the information on it later. So our meeting point is set, let's hope everyone can make it. And again, as stated prior, since it wasn't necessarily your hire letters, which we will be changing for next year, this meeting will not be a required attendance. But if you don't show up, you'll get to talk about the budgets that we're discussing that day, so.
Are we still inviting clubs up to the Friday meetings?
Yeah, so I've worked out the schedule available. If anything, there'll probably be maybe 1 or 2 clubs. So what I'm trying to work on is ideally during our 6-hour block there, we'll be able to get through around 15 to 20 clubs per meeting, hopefully more. So the schedule will be formed as such. Clubs will be given either 3 or 5 minutes to speak, and then should it be absolutely necessary, 1 question can be set from the board, with a response limited to 3 minutes from there. Ideally, we want every club to be in and out in 10 minutes if they have stuff to say. If If they don't have anything to say, fantastic, they don't have to show up. And we're gonna make that painfully clear that this is only if you have stuff that you believe is incredibly necessary for the board to hear that you were not able to fit into your application. We'll also be calling in clubs that we have any additional questions on, but hopefully that should be limited by the TST review stage. They'll be able to handle a lot of that weeding out and make things a lot clearer for us to work with. So any questions from there will hopefully be things that are just we need more information on. But ideally that TST review stage should clear up a lot of the issues. Any questions? All right, fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and break for recess. We'll reconvene here at 7 o'clock. You are free to go anywhere within the campus if you would like. Please be back in the Commons building by 6:55 and back in this room by 7.
I don't wanna go to the park on campus.
Please do not leave campus.
Thanks for coming. This would be a safe practice.
Do they have to do it?